L.B. Landry to become Landry Walker. It was not an easy time when you're merging two schools, programs, and even colors, and incorporated the school's colors together to make it work, and brought the kids together, did a great job, winning every year and winning at the highest level with a state championship, of course, to culminate that great effort at Landry Walker, which will always be one of the great moments in the history of that program. One of the great moments ever in the Dome, because when Landry Walker and Carr both won it, great rivals and neighbors, and coming together as one that year, that was a memory to last a lifetime. And he fostered that, and now he's got a new task on his hands as the head coach of the Helen Cox Cougars. It's great to welcome Coach Emanuel Powell to the show. Listen, Coach, great to have you with us. And listen, congratulations. Great to have you back in high school football where you belong.
Thank you, and I very much appreciate that and all your support. Thank you very much, Mr. Trahan.
Well, you know it's true, and we just talk truth here. We stick to the facts, and the facts are that you were incredibly successful at O'Perry Walker, at Landry Walker, and then, not to bring up bad memories, but somebody decided to make a change in the midst of great success, and it kind of left all of us scratching our heads. None of us really quite understood that as to what was transpiring, and there was no smoking gun. You had a greatly successful program, quality young men coming through that program who were successful athletically and academically as well, and yet you were moved. And without getting into details, how do you deal with adversity, and how do you deal with setbacks like that? Because you did everything that you could have ever been expected to do, and it still wasn't good enough. It had to be difficult, but how do you overcome that kind of adversity?
I think through the support of family and friends and prayer, just being able to just talk to outside people outside of football and just prayer and having the support mechanism in place to be able to overcome pretty much anything when it comes to adversity at this point in time. It was some difficult times, I'll tell you that, though.
Sure. Oh, I completely understand that. Like I said, I was scratching my head and didn't really understand it at all. And I wish no ill will to your successor or school or anything else, and yet it didn't really make a whole lot of sense at the time. Are you surprised at the trilogy of Keaton Thompson, a great young man? I mean, one of the nicest kids you ever met, terrific talent, and he never really got the chance to show what he could do. Now, when he first got to state, Fitzgerald was there, and I understand that. He was ahead of him in class and did a lot of the same things. But to not be the guy to succeed him, that's another one that left me scratching my head. You know, am I missing something, or are they missing something there?
You're not missing anything, Ken. To be honest with you, you know, we thought he would have been the guy after Fitzgerald, and he showed that in the bowl game and the opportunities that he had to play. And now he's taking his talent to Virginia, University of Virginia. He's graduated in 3.5 years, almost 4 years, so now he's gone on to get his master's. So, no, you're not missing anything. His talent level, his confidence is still there. He was just saw him probably a week or so ago. So his spirits are high, but, you know, that was one of those head scratchers for me also.
Yeah, really quality young man, and we wish him nothing but success at Virginia, and still has that one shot to make his mark. Okay, so Helen Cox, you take over the Cougars, and, you know, they had some mixed success in the past with my friend Willie Brooks, who started the program, and then they hit some lean times. And then last year was tough because, you know, they basically went through 3 coaches. Skip left, and then they brought in a coach, and then he had to move away and brought in another coach. So stability, I guess, is the key. It was tough on those kids last year, and yet I saw them. They had some talent.
Yes, they still have a few guys that have extreme amount of talent, and then we just look at the build up on that. And, you know, just go in and help change the culture and get it back to where, you know, it can be a promising school and can be a threat in 4A.
Yeah, I mean, it's a program that I think has a chance to grow, and, of course, in a league that has a chance to be competitive as well. So there's a lot to like there, and I think there's the possibility of good things being able to happen. You know, when that opportunity presented itself, what attracted you to it? What did you like about the job?
Well, to be honest, like you say, after all the things that had taken place with me, I had taken a year off last year, and then, you know, I was nail biting to get back at trying to coach and wanting to coach, and an opportunity arose at Helen Cox, and I looked at the lay of the land and the geography that they have there, and the type of athletes they had, and I felt like there would be a great opportunity to go in and help build something, and just to start over from scratch, and I was afforded the opportunity by the principal there, Ms. Moore, and things just went on from there. But I see a beautiful opportunity, a great opportunity to build on that. Now, will it take a couple of years? Yeah, but that's nothing that we haven't done before.
Visiting with Emanuel Powell, the new head coach of the Helen Cox Cougars. Quite an opportunity presented there and a challenge at the same time, and looking forward to it. And speaking of challenges, we're in challenging times right now with social justice issues, with people standing up, wanting to be accounted for, and wanting to be treated equally as well it should be. And it's been a long time coming. In your mind, how much progress has this country made, has this community made, and how much further do we have to go to really be in a place where everybody is the same, which is what, of course, it should be anyway?
Well, I think we've made some progress, not nearly as much as we should have at this point in time, and I think we have a quite a ways to go in regards to everybody feeling as though they are equal and being treated equally. It's just a lot of things that has happened in the past, and it takes time to get over some of those things and able to move forward. And I think this is one of the great times to try to put all that together and not just let it fall by the wayside like it has done in the past.
Talk about yourself, Emanuel, growing up, and what kind of discrimination you may have faced, if there was any particular time that was really obvious.
Well, I would say this to you. I graduated from the University of Utah. And, I've met discrimination, I've met racism quite a few times, but I've always had the support mechanism or the support of my coaches and friends and parents to be able to get past that. So, I was one of the fortunate ones. I have to tell you that.
And then you mentor young men all the time. You did that at O'Perry Walker and Landry Walker for years. Now you'll be doing it at Helen Cox. What do you try to impart to them to convince them, A, to try to remain as patient as possible, not to let their anger consume them, and to try to help make change and affect change in this world?
Well, we try to use these incidents or these situations that has occurred in the last month and a half to point to be able to say, hey, this is the reason why you need to be patient. This is the reason why you need to be able to have these conversations and understand, when you get stopped by the police, if that happens, this is the way you need to behave or act. You have to utilize the platform that you have right now and build upon that.
Well, I don't think there's any question. Educating is intelligent, but to even think, just from my perspective, and I've said this to several coaches too, it's hard for me to understand because I haven't encountered any of that in my life. And you think to yourself, well, why would you? Because if you've done nothing wrong, why would you have to deal with interrogation, being stopped for nothing, and whatever the case may be? I mean, is it really the color of skin? It certainly seems that way because it doesn't seem to make any sense to me. You're stopping somebody because they're speeding or driving erratically, different story, but just to be stopped for no particular reason, is it truly just all about the color of skin? It just doesn't seem to make any sense to me.
Most definitely, and I've had that happen to me. Unfortunately, on two occasions that I can go back to thinking, and for no apparent reason, not driving erratically, having three people in the car of the same color, and just being stopped, put on the ground, handcuffed, and everything. So
that's unbelievable. Yeah,
been there, done that. I promise you.
That's handcuffed as well.
Yes.
Wow. Because
of my size, they said. Because of my size and my friend's size, they need to handcuff her. Wow.
Yeah, well, you got two strikes against you. You got the wrong color of skin, and you got size on you. You're a big man.
Yes.
Gee, isn't that ridiculous? I don't have anything to worry about. I'm 5'8", for crying out loud, and I'm Caucasian. You got to be kidding me. It's just hard to believe that this happens, but that's why we're doing this, because I think it's important for people to get educated and understand what really happens and what goes on. Because I don't blame the person that doesn't understand because he doesn't understand or she doesn't understand what others have encountered. I think it's imperative for us to educate people, to let them know what goes on, because I honestly believe most people at heart are good people, and if they know and understand issues, then they'll come to a place where they not only can sympathize with somebody, but they can relate to somebody. Some people you're never going to reach, and they're not worth it anyway. But I do think if people understood and you educate them more, which is what we try to do, then I do think something positive will come out of this.
And I agree with 100% with everything you just said. Some people you'll never reach, but it's also people that just need to be educated and need to be spoken to and explained to. And then, they will come around over a period of time after that.
Last comment, last question. You've coached so many winning teams. I mean, you got to have good players to win and good coaches. That's obvious. But what's the biggest factor or biggest principle in your theory and your style and how you coach that you believe is the most important thing to being successful?
Well, I think that one of the biggest things in being successful is, one, you got to work hard. We understand that. But two, you have to self-evaluate yourself and understanding your own strengths and weaknesses, and being able to have someone surround you who can help you with your strengths and weaknesses. If I'm weak in one area, that I have another coach that's strong in that area. So now we all strong, and you just build relationships through that. And once you have a strong staff, that's pretty much key to keeping on being successful, having a very strong staff and not a high turnover ratio. But when you're winning, you also have that turnover ratio.
Helen Cox has a proven winner as its head coach, a good influence on young men, and success is, I certainly think, going to follow perhaps sooner rather than later because of Emanuel Powell. Coach, listen, I'm so happy to see you back in the game. You deserve it. You're a class act, and you do a great job, and nothing but the best to you, and here to help in any way, shape, or form. And let's hope you get all those kids back soon, not just 25 of them, and that you can get on the field and play football. Let's all hope and pray that happens sometime.
Thank you, and I very much appreciate it, and thank you for having me on the show.
My pleasure, Emanuel. Thank you. That's Emanuel Powell. You got it, the head coach of Helen Cox. And again, this is a guy, I can say it, he's not with us now, but he got shafted at Landry Walker. He really did. I mean, when you look at what happened there, people are entitled to hire whoever they want, do whatever they want. But having said that, to get pushed out in that situation for no apparent reason with all the wins that he had, and it has nothing to do with his successor. It's just, again, like I said, mind-boggling. It makes no sense at all. But the good news is someone else realized that, and he's getting another real shot to prove exactly what he's capable of doing. And I have no doubt that he'll be successful. Emanuel Powell of Helen Cox High School.